Hey, guys, Instagram Live, Facebook Live, social media world, what's going on? Paul Scott here. I wanted to talk to you guys today about growth and why having a growth mindset over a goal oriented mindset is so important. This lesson comes from John Maxwell. He talks about in his book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, he talks about the law of process. And what the law of process is he talks about the process of he says leaders grow daily and not in a day, and that's the law of process, the process of becoming a leader. People always overestimate the event and they underestimate the process. Let me get a 777 in the chat. If you're watching this video, let me get a 777 in the chat if you've ever had some monumental goal and you worked your butt off and you got there, and then you get to the top and you go, this is it. Right? It's nowhere near the joy and the excitement that you thought you would have. How many of you in business had some goal? You said, oh, if we can only get to this income level, or if we can grow and scale to this level, have this many customers, or if I can only get a promotion and become a manager, or if I can win this tournament, or if I can become the best whatever in the world, then I'll be super happy. Then everything will be all my goals will be realized and my life will be complete. And then you do that thing, and it's not the fulfillment that you thought you would get from it. That's because being goal oriented, although goals are important, I'm not saying don't have goals, but when you focus on growth instead of just the goal, it has a monumental impact, because being growth oriented and focusing on the growth instead of the goal will get you way further. And let me explain the difference between the two mindsets. See, when you're goal oriented, you are destination focused. And again, that goes back to that example of being reaching X amount of customers, or being the best whatever in the world, winning whatever tournament, or getting that promotion. That's the goal, right? You're destination focused. But if you're growth oriented, you're focused more on the journey, right? Because if you're focused on the goal, then that means your happiness really depends on whether you do that thing or not. And you really only reach happiness if you accomplish that thing, and then you reach it and you go, okay, like what's next? You're kind of lost. But if you're growth oriented and you're focused on the journey and the process of becoming, then it brings joy, enjoyment, fulfillment, and excitement throughout that entire process. And the next thing is being goal oriented. It motivates people, right? People get excited about being a part of that journey to your goals. But if you're growth oriented, it matures people. And what John was talking about when he mentioned that having mature people is, yeah, motivation is nice. People get fired up. They get excited for a couple minutes or a couple weeks or whatever it is. But eventually that flame goes out, right? Motivation, just like showering, it's something that has to be done constantly, right? And it doesn't last forever. And when you're growth oriented and you have mature people, they see the bigger picture. They see that overall vision, and they're not just focused on that goal. They're focused on all of the many accomplishments that happen on the way to that goal, and they realize that every step forward is a step towards that bigger accomplishment, that bigger goal, that bigger dream. The other thing about goals is that they're seasonal. You can't sprint forever, right? You have a lot of times in business, I've been in network marketing for years, and that's what I currently do as a profession. In network marketing, we always talk about this 90-day game plan, right? You go 90 days, you go as hard as you can. I mean, you don't sleep, right? You just push and work, and you don't stop until you're like passing out from exhaustion. But you do that and work with that level of intensity for 90 days, and that 90 days is supposed to change the rest of your life. I mean, that 90 days is when you flip the switch and your business completely takes off, out of the stratosphere, and you're able to create the income that you've always wanted, or you're able to hit whatever goal it is that you were pushing for. But after that 90 days, then you kind of take your foot off the gas. You need that time to kind of recharge the batteries and to just relax and enjoy the accomplishment. That's seasonal, and that's what that goal oriented mindset gets you. But if you're growth oriented, it's a lifelong journey. There is no arrival. There is no, oh, I hit my destination. It is a constant push to always move forward, a constant push to always better yourself. And that's why focusing on growth is so much more important. A couple more things about growth is that goals challenge people. Right? Every time you set out to accomplish something, it's a challenge. You got to push yourself, and you want to, you've got to grow and learn new skills, right? You're challenging people with goals. But if you're growth oriented, you change people, right? You change people over time. It's not just an overnight thing. If you're growth oriented, you realize that the entire process is, it's not just a challenge, but it's a true change in people's mindsets, in people's lives. And it's just an entire process. And the final thing about being part of being a goal oriented mindset is that you hit that plateau. Like I said, once you reach the top of that mountain, you kind of get there and go, oh, is this it? Well, what's next? Like, what do I do? People who have that growth oriented mindset are happier. They're more fulfilled because, again, that journey is always, it's not a 90-day sprint. It's that marathon that is lifelong, everlasting. And so you never hit that plateau like people with the goal oriented mindset. You are constantly going. So there's four, as far as your plan for growth, right? There's 4 steps in the plan for growth. There are 4 things that are extremely important to map out your growth, right? It's not some monumental accomplishment. It's not some magical event that just happens, right? And nothing just happens. You never wake up on top of a mountain and you're just confused and you're looking around and you go, what? How did I get here? Right? If you're on top of the mountain, you know that you went through the struggles of hiking that entire mountain. Okay, you faced the wilderness. You hiked and hiked for hours and hours or days or however long it took, and you finally conquered that mountain. It is a purposeful event. It doesn't just happen. You don't just wake up one day and you're up there. And it's the same thing with growth. You don't just grow by accident. You have to purposefully set out to grow. And I'm going to outline some keys to help you in your growth. So the first one is to set time aside for growth. Set a time aside where you are going to take an hour to learn something new, work on your craft, study something that you have an interest in, whatever it is. Set time aside every single day that you are going to grow. The second thing is pick a concentrated area to grow in, which, by the way, these are your action steps for today's video as well. So set time aside to grow, put that into your schedule. The second one is pick a concentrated area of growth. Pick something that you want to grow in. Whether it is something for your job, something for your business. Maybe you want to learn, how to play the piano. All right. Whatever it is, pick what you want to grow in. Okay. The third is you have to find the resources in order to aid your growth. I mean, this knowledge isn't just going to fall from the sky and enter into your brain. Figure out, what are some books I can read? What are some audios I can listen to? What are some YouTube channels that I can plug into and start to absorb some of this knowledge? What are some podcasts that I can listen to? What are some audiobooks? Whatever it is. I mean, there are tons and tons and tons of resources. I mean, the internet, everything and anything that you could ever want it can be found somewhere on the internet. So find the resources in order to help you with your growth. And the final step is, what will I do with this growth? What will I do with this knowledge? Because you have to find a way to implement and apply this knowledge into your life. So step one, set time aside to grow. Step two, pick a concentrated area to grow in. Step three, find the resources to grow. And step four, find a way to implement that growth and those lessons into your life. And I want to leave you guys with a quote from John's podcast a few days ago. You know, John C. Maxwell, his leadership podcast, he said, you don't have to pay a price to grow and expand intellectually. The mind neither requires nor demands it. However, if you want to experience the joy of discovery and the pleasures of plowed new and fertile soil, effort is required. It's up to you. Time to choose. So with that being said, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Make your choice, make your decision, and hopefully you choose to pick a growth-oriented mindset. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow in the next video. Have a good one. Peace.